ain't sleeping till Hollywood. We ain't sleeping.
You're listening to the No Sleep Till Hollywood podcast. We're not sleeping until we make it in Hollywood. And while we're up, we will be discussing the state of the industry and our place in it. It's your girl, Gaelyn Smith.
And your boy, Caleb McDonald. And, we could talk all day. Who can't? Drew Barrymore. I don't know if y'all keeping up with the times, keeping up with
So
the
unhinged.
But if you are unaware, it is day 140 of the WGA strike.
Oh, mercy, Jesus.
I don't even know, but the actors is like somewhere under that 140, as we know.
Yeah, they're way under the 140, but it's been at least 40 days.
And because of that strike, because of the SAG strike, there are multiple productions being halted, being shut down. Okay, shut down the town. There's multiple production halts, but as we all know, fall is the new season when everything else gets pushed out. So talk shows, they were about to get started, and luckily we have a face to put on the talk show
drama.
Yes, the talk show,
the scandals.
And that is Drew Barrymore. Would you like to explain Drew Barrymore's part?
Y'all, all right. So, Drew Barrymore. Y'all know she has a talk show called Drew Barrymore Show, and it started during the pandemic. And, her whole thing during the pandemic was giving us television that we could all bond around, have shared moments, and just get through the dark times. But during the strike, obviously, the show had shut down. A lot of the talk shows film more episodes and then slowly premiere them. So essentially, they film like 2 episodes a day. While we were seeing more Drew Barrymore episodes, we weren't having them be produced at the exact same time. They were just like in the can and being released. So then, about a week ago, 2 weeks ago now, Drew Barrymore announced that she was going to come back this season with new episodes of the Drew Barrymore Show. But there is a WGA strike, which means that the show is considered struck work and no WGA writers can be writing on the show, which means any writing that gets done on the show is struck work. Who was going to be doing this struck work, you may ask? We don't know. But the point is, she was coming back. Way back in May, Drew Barrymore bowed out of hosting the MTV Movie Awards in solidarity with the WGA and striking writers. So the fact that she decided to come back for this new season is very, shady, shiesty. What's going on, girl? And of course, the Drew Barrymore Show is not the only show that falls under this umbrella. You have The Talk, you have the Jennifer Hudson Show, you have The View, and you have Bill Maher, all shows that were coming back that fall under the WGA striking contract, and therefore we're going to be struck work. Since the timing of this episode has worked out, we kind of are at the end of everything. And so the Drew Barrymore Show, the Jennifer Hudson Show, and the Bill Maher Show have decided not to return for this season until the strike is resolved. The Talk and The View are still up in the air, with I believe The Talk having said that they're not coming back, but The View has not made a decision as of now, and I believe they had an episode filmed today, which is September 19th.
And we talked about Drew Barrymore's reasoning, right? My thing with her reasoning is, we are all aware that, sacrifices are being made on our side, on the writer side, on the actor side, just as well as the intention is to make the not a sacrifice, but to cut off payment and money to the studios.
Right.
So for her to have taken such a big stand in the beginning of the strike, when things were relatively, you could say, easy, like the show was about to end anyways.
Right.
And also paired with the fact that, she's been in SAG she's been in SAG basically all her life.
All her life, essentially.
So to turn your back on a union that was really there for you the whole time is actually kind of crazy.
And especially, well, it's not even turning her back on SAG, because in terms of SAG rules, she is not breaking any rules. She's going against the WGA strike. That's the very important difference. As long as she's not promoting new work, she's not breaking SAG rules. Any writing that gets done is considered WGA struck work, and that's where her issue would have been. But I think it's also just really wild because for her, she's talking about how she's able to support her crew in this way.
Mm-hmm.
So Abbott Elementary's producers, to include, Justin Halpern and Quinta Brunson, they all gathered together to create a crew-specific fund to support the 152 members of their crew. They've already donated to the Entertainment Community Fund, but they said they wanted a specific way to support the people who helped them create Abbott Elementary. We all know crews are out of work. IATSE a lot of times is kind of striking in solidarity where they can, but like there is not, there are other ways to support your crew that's affected by striking work,
Right.
other than putting them in the position to do struck work.
Okay, so as we all know, talk shows, one of the main appeals is the fact that they have guests on the show.
Right.
So it's very crazy to me that for the Drew Barrymore Show, guests were being booked, but also being lied to about like what they were going to be doing there. And
It's like being lied to about like, are they in compliance with what's happening?
Right.
And like that being like something you're lying about, because that's so like, you're wrong when you have to lie to people.
Very wrong. And it was like a whole host of people, comics, political folks, etc. But I'm glad that they pulled out. The public wasn't supposed to know, but
right.
Like they pulled out quietly because some of these people actually know a thing or two about solidarity and want to support in every way, and also they have their careers to think about as well.
Yeah, and it's also just like, I don't know, going back to something you said, it's like these are unions that are creating protections for everybody. Like whether you need them or not, like that's the whole thing is the people who are the loudest right now are also people that tend to be like not making the most money in the unions. But considering we know that like we did that episode a few weeks ago where it's like 80 something % of members don't qualify for health insurance, like these are things that are bigger than individuals. And when somebody like Drew Barrymore, who has been SAG since they were probably like 5 years old and has grown up in the unions, takes a stand against SAG and WGA, it really just kind of weakens that public perception. Obviously, people in the industry understand to a different extent what's going on, but people outside of the industry, they don't care. They just know that their favorite shows aren't coming on. So when somebody decides, oh, I'm going to do it anyway, it really just weakens how the rest of the industry is seen in the eyes of audiences and in terms of audiences and consumers in a way that's just so harmful, and it's so unproductive when like you literally have the money to support your staff in other ways. Like do that.
And to the idea that she is trying to be supportive of the WGA and whatnot, that gets contested when you recall the story about two people who had gotten tickets for the show. But on their way into the show, obviously the WGA strike was happening. They were given WGA strike pins. And once security took notice of the WGA pins, they kicked them out. And with some aggressiveness, they put it.
It's just wild. And the thing is this, they were literally just fans who didn't even know about the strike until they got there. It wasn't like they were sneaking in and no one took the time to say what's up. They just saw the pins and were like, you gotta go. And it's interesting, again, the Drew Barrymore Show being a show, empathy, safe space, grow together conversations. And then in the production of the show has ignored that at multiple steps. It's very unfortunate. I think it's one of those things where Drew Barrymore very much messed up. And I'm glad that now at the time we're recording this, she has reversed course and changed her decision. Right. But there definitely is also this point of this white woman with privilege and access made a decision in her selfishness that also allowed other people to feel safe. Because notice that as soon as she dropped ship, then the other shows jumped ship. Yeah. But when she said she was going to do it, everybody else was fine. And so you're using your access and privilege to make a decision that puts other people's careers in jeopardy. And you do this and then you cry about it to tell us you are still going to do it. And then you post a post that you're not going to do it, but you're using these tears to like absolve you of your responsibility. And you're using it to absolve you of any criticism or critique when like you did something wrong. And it's like white women always going to be white women at the end of the day, but it's like Drew Barrymore does so much on her show that to see in real life this is how she moves, which like everybody's public and private perceptions are different,
Yeah.
but like you allowed us to see that. Like when it's time to stand on business, you're not really going to until you're pressed.
One of my favorite things of the past 15 or so years has definitely been celebrity apologies that are just posted. You know, because when it was just
I don't know, the tear ones, the crying on Instagram and the notes app, like they're tied.
they're neck and neck. Because
Because I don't know if you ever saw Travis Scott after Astroworld when he was trying to make himself cry.
throwing in some heavy sighs in there, like
Like I love Travis. Y'all know I be bumping this thing, but this whole was geeking me. How your baby mama, who ain't even responsible for throwing the festival, sound more sorry than you? All she was is your baby mama.
right. No, because yeah, no, with YouTubers, like it made sense, you know, that's the platform they talk to their people. So like obviously continue the conversation.
Yeah,
Celebrities doing it left and right for very different circumstances.
because she was really crying, talking about something. I thought this was gonna help us. If we could make it through COVID, we could make it through the strike. No, we can't. That's the whole point. The strike is supposed to show us we can't make it.
And everyone knows that an apology is nothing without changed behavior. So
Literally.
what?
Acknowledgement of wrongdoing. Sorry, and Burn It Down. She explains the perfect apology, but acknowledgement of wrongdoing and change are like really two of the major four steps. It's four steps. And honestly, the steps that I knew before and the steps I read in that book, I was like, oh nah, she ate with that. She ate with that.
You know,
That's an apology.
so the fact that she did not even half of the apology steps and expected that to be fine and dandy is also like, wow, okay, you really whipped out the crocodile tears. Because here's the thing, any martyr or whatever, if they apologize, it's after the fact.
Literally.
How you gonna apologize? But
In between.
I thought about killing you. I'm sorry.
Like she was really wild for that. I just feel like dang, Drew. It's like people are like, we need to forgive her. Okay. She's seen the error of her ways and she was wrong, okay? But she's back now. And I'm like, it's so nice that she felt that and made her decision to change. It still doesn't mean that she wasn't wrong. It doesn't mean I have to drag her anymore, but she was still wrong for what she did.
Right.
I think also what's funny is like if the networks and studios were half as willing to be accountable and course correct when they were wrong, do you realize the strike would be over? It's going on, like you said, it's 140 days. By time people listen to this, we will be 3 days short of tying the record. And on the 151st day, we will now have the longest WGA strike in history. And depending on how long the SAG strike goes, we could have the longest SAG strike and the longest dual strike.
Yeah.
It's so funny because in Burn It Down at the end, Burn It Down is a book about the industry that we're going to talk about in the next couple episodes, guys. But she says like, oh, there'll be a studio deal by mid 2023. And I just wrote, ha, because we are literally in a strike right now. Like she wrote that book in 2022 thinking we would be able to work it out. And
Right.
we ain't worked nothing out, girl. Nothing at all.
Sorry to tell you, history's about to be made.
Yeah.
Unless,
And not for good reasons.
maybe the studios see that date coming up like, guys, do we really want to be the longest? But
No.
where do you think Drew Barrymore like clearly messed up though? Like, was it at that?
When she called the meeting to say, hey guys, I have a great idea. We're going to come back. That's when she was wrong. That's exactly where she had me fucked up at. Because why would you do that, Drew? Meanwhile, I enjoy. Listen, y'all. If y'all don't know me, them little Drew Barrymore clips on TikTok when she be getting eye to eye with people, I love it. So why does she have to act like this? I'm like, girl, now I can't even like you no more. But really, that's where she had me messed up. When the idea was formed in her head,
Right.
she was wrong.
Yeah, no. And in my personal opinion, she was wrong the second she put down the video and said, all right, never mind. I'll stop doing the show. Because if you're going to do it, stand on it.
Everything in between that was really killing me too. Like, you posted and then 3 hours later, whoosh.
Right. Like, do you actually believe in this decision? Huh?
You standing on what you said or not, girl?
Because why are the people affecting you? I thought you thought hard about this. Drew Barry, do more.
Y'all, please. I saw the hashtag people were saying Drew the right thing.
That was a good one.
I was like, that was good, y'all. That was good. No, I think it's crazy because right now, going back to kind of like the conversation we were just having, like, do the studios and executives like want to have the longest strike? Do they think that we are playing with these people? People are going without jobs, without things, are losing homes, taking kids out of summer camp and all type of stuff for this strike. I don't know what they know that we don't know. But ain't nobody coming back to the table to talk about no foolishness. Like, at this point, people have now, I think there's a balance of like, the strike goes on so long that people get desperate, but there's also a point when the strike goes on too long to now you can't settle for foolishness. And we are really hitting that point. Like, I think at 100, 110 days, it was like, all right, I'm getting desperate. 140 days, like nearing up on the longest WGA strike ever.
Yeah.
I'm not coming back for peanuts.
My theory is that the studios are just trying to figure out if there's any legal way to do AI with everything that they already have. And then when their scientists are like, we looked it up and sorry, there's just no legal case where this is okay. And they'll be like, all right, guys, we've heard your terms.
Yeah. That's crazy. Because honestly, that doesn't sound like the wildest thing ever.
It doesn't. Matter of fact, here's a much easier one. If mine was too sci-fi, they already made a movie with AI written, AI recorded. And so they're just waiting until that movie gets released to see how it does. And then if the first AI movie actually does sell a pretty penny, then they'll be like, we have our proof. We're good.
Bye, guys.
Do your own shenanigans.
Yo, that's going to be insane. I need them to come back with television bad because who is watching The Golden Bachelor? Even more important, they done moved my gosh darn Big Brother back to 11 o'clock at night because they wanted to show a show from their streaming service on the broadcast channel from the beginning. That first episode was 2 hours. Big Brother came on at 10:50 at night. Because they had to do 60 minutes, they did football, then 60 minutes, then the insert show, and then Big Brother. You know how mad I was?
Yeah, no, because for your schedule,
I'm trying to go to sleep. I got to watch Big Brother at midnight.
Everything's being affected. Everything.
They need to hurry up. Also, you know what's crazy? But I just found out Dancing with the Stars has writers. Like WGA writers. Which makes sense because they say funny stuff on there. But like, they are a struck show. And they're coming back.
One of the biggest, like, world falling apart bits of information for me was that there are dead joke writers. Like, for shows, for your favorite comedians, like, there are other people like, hey, this is funny, or this is funnier than what you said. Like,
can you imagine? Like, that's crazy. It's like, it's one thing for that to be like on scripted television shows. But I just, for some reason, want to think that like talk show hosts and like comedians
Have a
should be writing their own
personality
stuff. Yeah,
because there is the
like
one
it's one thing that you're writing movies, but like your stand up set, you have writers, bro, go home.
right. Like, why are you doing?
Somebody offered to be my stand up writer once, but like he had just met me and didn't even know if I was funny yet. So I was like, but he was so serious. He was an older guy. And I was like, is this because you're finding that you're not having success in your career and you think because I'm young and pretty, like is that like are you trying to like funnel your jokes through me? Like I have questions, comments, and concerns.
I need follow up on that one. The door.
Like,
But there was that one comedian, we didn't talk about it, who does have a talk show, Sherry Shepherd,
yes.
and that's
Oh,
not
Sherry Shepherd and Tamron Hall. Yeah, they both are in the
right.
same
Tamron Hall is
category.
a journalist,
Yes.
um, and so those two shows are going on, but it's not WGA struck work
Right.
because like Sherry Shepherd is a comedian who does her
She can
own
write her own jokes.
improvises,
She Gucci.
and then Tamron Hall, journalist, and so that's like not anything for
Yeah, she's writing her own content anyway because she's a journalist, which she does. So it's like there are ways to get around, not get around, but there are ways to do work that's not struck. But like Drew Barrymore girly, you not it. That's not gonna work for us. So I'm glad they have course corrected. I'm interested to see what The View does because right now The View is the last one standing. The View is a problematic show anyway,
very highly.
with some problematic thoughts. So who knows what they're gonna do?
Was it the View that had that one host say, "Who's gonna clean your toilets, Donald Trump"? Have you never heard of that?
I feel like that has to be The View.
Yeah, no, that was bad. She was talking about immigration politics, and she was like, "Well, if you kick all the Mexicans out of this country, well, who's gonna clean your toilets, Donald Trump?" And the way she thought everybody was gonna be on her side,
Like she knew she ate that only to have failed miserably.
miserably. Yeah, no, that was bad. That was bad. That one is a moment where I'm like, yeah, no, roll out the apology. Get your camera, notes app,
I don't even
script,
I don't even have any other words now. I'm just
and we could have so many more of those moments if the studios just get their stuff together.
because right now,
Because
y'all, it's even book club. I don't even know, like y'all. I don't even know anymore. I'm reading this book that should become a movie, and because I can't give them ideas, because that's also bad, I'm gonna just have to sit on it. But just know when the movie come, I'm ready. I'm ready to play her. Okay, I still look youthful. I'm still getting 18.
yeah, yeah, especially a Hollywood 18, you know.
Just cover the tattoos, but I'm giving 18. But yeah, I need them to come back. But on that note, this has been another episode of the No Sleep Till Hollywood podcast. Make sure you follow us at No Sleep Till Holly at Gmail on Instagram, child. On Instagram. Did I even say it right? Now did I say the name right?
Right? Because
It,
it might be
it didn't
just.
feel right at all.
I think it's No Sleep Till
Nope,
Hollywood.
yep, it's No Sleep Till Hollywood. I was like,
Yeah,
it doesn't even feel right coming out of my mouth.
you just gave the people our contact.
Y'all, I done gave y'all the wrong information. The Instagram page is at No Sleep Till Hollywood. You can follow me, Galen Smith, at G Smitty with 2 T's and 4 Y's on anything with an at symbol. And you can continue to see me at Drunk Shakespeare DC and insert new thing that I can probably start talking about next episode.
And you can follow me at Caleb Subtitles. I have been sharing more comedy for those who are
Yes,
interested.
y'all.
And there will be a special second thing very soon. So keep a lookout for that.
Wow. Guys, look at us doing work. Yay, us. Y'all know that TikTok sound where it's like, make some noise for Sexy Red. And it's like silent. She's like, make some noise. What the fuck? Ah! That's how I be feeling.
I gotta say, one of the most embarrassing moments in life gotta be when you say a TikTok sound nobody recognizes.
Everybody knows that it's trending right now. And like the trend is like me doing something that I should do and not getting applauded for and giving myself my own applause. Everybody knows the trend is trending right now. Just because you don't know about Sexy Red and the trends, Caleb.
Or maybe because TikTok is hyper specific, it was on. Nobody gives me the appreciation that I deserve.
Nor because Sexy Red is trending all over TikTok. This Sexy Red.
Mhm. All
You
right.
not out of are you not out of town thinking with your rounds?
We will absolutely 100% be finishing this discussion afterwards. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you did,
Until
please.
next time. Oh yeah, make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe and comment. But until next time, good night, good morning, bonjour, bonsoir, adios. Bye guys.